It was one of those evenings where everything felt ordinary until it wasn't. Ryan, a college sophomore, was sitting in my small, cluttered dorm room, surrounded by stacks of textbooks, half-empty coffee cups, and the soft hum of the city outside. To anyone else, I was just another student trying to survive deadlines, lectures, and the occasional party. But beneath the surface, I lived a secret life, a life that most people would never suspect. Crossdressing wasn't new to me. It wasn't a hobby I flaunted, nor was it something I had been forced into. It was a quiet passion, an escape from the monotony of everyday life. Behind closed doors, I had a collection of clothes, shoes, and makeup that allowed me to explore a side of myself that felt confident, playful, and unapologetically feminine. It wasn't about pretending to be someone else. It was about becoming a fuller version of myself, even if only in private. And then there was Emma, my girlfriend. She was brilliant, stunning, and effortlessly charming, the kind of girl who could light up a room with a single smile. Our relationship was deep, layered with trust, intimacy, and playful teasing. But there was one thing Emma didn't know, and that terrified me. She had no idea about my crossdressing. The thought of her discovering this secret filled me with equal parts excitement and dread. That evening, I was scrolling through my phone when Emma's text lit up the screen. "Hey Ryan, you left your lipstick at my place, smirking face. Can you come get it?" I froze. Her lipstick, that tiny, innocuous tube, had been a silent temptation in my drawer, a vivid red that had whispered possibilities of transformation whenever I'd caught a glimpse of it. Normally, I would have ignored it, resisting the thrill. But tonight, a reckless curiosity sparked inside me. I found myself walking to her apartment, the lipstick tube now burning a hole in my pocket. Emma's apartment was cozy, filled with the scent of vanilla candles and the soft glow of fairy lights. She greeted me with a smile, unaware of the storm brewing inside me. I handed her the lipstick, but my fingers lingered on the smooth surface, my mind racing. Can I try it?" I asked almost too casually. Emma raised an eyebrow, but didn't seem surprised. "Sure, go ahead. But careful, it's a bold color." Bold. That word sent a shiver down my spine. I sat on the edge of her sofa, pulled the lipstick from its tube, and applied it slowly. The first stroke on my lips was electric. It wasn't just color. It was a transformation, subtle yet powerful. I felt a rush of confidence and daring I hadn't anticipated. For a fleeting moment, I saw a different version of myself staring back in the mirror on her dresser, a version both alluring and dangerously visible. Emma leaned over, studying me. "Wow, that actually suits you," she said softly. "You look different." "I like it." My heart thudded in my chest. Different. Not invisible. Seen. The thrill was intoxicating, but so was the fear. What if she realized this wasn't just lipstick? What if she suspected how far I might go with this persona I had kept hidden? Maybe I should go, I stammered, suddenly aware of how exposed I felt. But Emma's smile held a mischievous edge. "Stay. Let's hang out for a bit. I want to see this new you." We settled onto the couch, the city lights spilling across the floor. My fingers traced the hem of my own shirt nervously, but my mind was elsewhere. Every glance from Emma, every casual comment, felt loaded with unspoken tension. Could she see beyond the lipstick, into the secret thrill it had unleashed? Then came the twist. A knock at her door startled us both. Emma went to answer, leaving me alone for a heartbeat. I glanced at the mirror again, seeing my lips, the bold red, and felt a strange mixture of vulnerability and exhilaration. I was more exposed than ever, yet more alive than I had been in years. Emma returned, her expression slightly unreadable. "You know, everyone's going to think something," she said cryptically. "What do you mean?" I asked, panic creeping in. She shrugged, leaning closer. "Well, if someone sees you like this, maybe they'll think you're dating me." My stomach dropped. Not just the boldness of the lipstick, not just the thrill of transformation, but now the entire world, or at least our world, could misinterpret this playful moment as something far more serious. The danger wasn't just exposure, It was misjudgment, rumor, and the risk of losing control of my carefully balanced secret. I swallowed hard, the lipstick tube heavy in my pocket, the room suddenly charged with tension. My heart raced as I realized that a single glance from anyone else could ignite a fire I wasn't sure I could contain. And then, as I leaned back on the sofa, Emma reached out and gently took my hand. "Ryan, this is kind of exciting, isn't it?" she said with that mischievous smile again. Exciting. Terrifying. Vulnerable. Powerful. All at once. My mind spun with possibilities, with fear, with desire. The lipstick was no longer just a tube of color. It was a key, unlocking a part of me I had never dared to reveal. I realized, in that moment, that nothing would ever be the same. This simple act, this playful experiment, could change everything. How Emma saw me, how I saw myself, and how the world might perceive us. And as I caught my reflection in the mirror one last time, red lips shining, I had no idea that stepping into this playful dare would make everyone around us believe we were something far more serious, and I wasn't ready for what came next. The rest of the evening unfolded like a delicate balancing act. Emma leaned back on the sofa, scrolling through her phone casually, while I fidgeted with the lipstick in my hand. Each glance in the mirror across the room reflected the bold red that now colored my lips, a color so daring it seemed to shout my secret to the world, even if no one else noticed. The thrill and the panic coursed through me in equal measure. On one hand, I felt a confidence I had rarely experienced. The color, the transformation, the slight curl of my lips, it was intoxicating. But on the other hand, the fear gnawed at the edges of my mind. What if someone else saw me like this? What if Emma's playful comment, that everyone might think we were dating, turned into gossip, speculation, or something far worse? I tried to distract myself by making small talk, laughing at Emma's jokes and pretending everything was normal. But inside, I was spinning. Every flicker of her eyes toward me, every subtle smirk, heightened the tension. She was aware of the change. She had seen the power this lipstick had over me. Later, as the night deepened, Emma suggested we take a few selfies for fun. I hesitated, my pulse quickening. Posing for photos in this lipstick, fully visible, meant a permanent record, a trace that could slip into the wrong hands. But Emma's insistence, her playful teasing, made it hard to refuse. I leaned closer to her, smiling awkwardly, feeling the unfamiliar sensation of my lips brushing against the cool tip of the lipstick. The flash of the camera captured a moment that felt electric, intimate, and dangerous all at once. "See," Emma said, scrolling through the images. "You look amazing. Honestly, people would think we're—" She paused, letting her eyes twinkle mischievously. "Dating." The words hung in the air. My chest tightened. She wasn't wrong. The combination of the lipstick, the closeness, and the playful posing created a visual story that others could easily misinterpret. The next morning, I walked to class feeling unusually self-conscious. The lipstick had faded slightly, but the memory of the bold color and the reactions it had provoked clung to me like a second skin. Every passing glance, every whispered comment from classmates felt loaded with potential exposure. I tried to focus on the lecture, but my mind was a whirlwind of possibilities. And then, during a group project, it happened. Liam, a fellow student known for his keen observations and sometimes cruel humor, leaned over and whispered with a grin. "Wow, did you really borrow Emma's lipstick last night? Looks like everyone's going to get the wrong idea." My stomach dropped. My secret, the thrill of my private transformation, was now being speculated upon. Panic surged, but I forced a calm smile, trying to appear casual while my mind raced for damage control. By afternoon, I found myself alone in the dorm bathroom, staring at my reflection. The lipstick was gone, washed away from last night's escapades, but the memory of it lingered. I traced my lips with my finger, feeling the phantom tingle of color and daring. The transformation wasn't just physical, it had changed something inside me. I realized that my secret passion, once confined to the safety of my room, was now dangerously close to being exposed. Every glance from Emma, every comment from classmates, every subtle whisper threatened to reveal me. And yet, a part of me craved that thrill, the mix of vulnerability, excitement, and daring that came from stepping fully into this hidden persona. That evening, I returned to Emma's apartment under the pretense of returning some of her books. My hands shook slightly as I carried them inside, memories of the previous night flooding back. The lipstick, the photos, the teasing comments, all of it had created a tension that was now impossible to ignore. Emma noticed my nervousness immediately. "Ryan, you've been acting weird all day. What's going on?" she asked, her voice both teasing and probing. I opened my mouth to deny it, to insist that nothing had happened, but the words caught in my throat. The truth was, I didn't want to deny it. The thrill of being partially revealed, of walking the edge of exposure, had become addictive. I don't know, I admitted finally, my voice trembling slightly. "It's complicated." Emma smiled, moving closer. "Complicated can be fun," she said. "And a little dangerous." The danger escalated when her roommate returned unexpectedly. I froze, realizing that the lipstick, the images, the close contact with Emma could easily be misinterpreted, or worse, revealed. Every second felt like a countdown to disaster. I fumbled for an excuse, but Emma's mischievous glance suggested she was silently daring me to embrace the chaos. The thrill of her awareness, her control over the situation, made my pulse race. I felt the adrenaline spike, the same thrill I had always felt when crossdressing in private, but now magnified 100-fold. As the evening progressed, I found myself holding the lipstick again, almost involuntarily. The temptation was irresistible. The brush of color across my lips was electric, transforming me into someone both familiar and astonishingly new. But the door creaked open. Emma's roommate stopped mid-step, eyes widening in shock. Cliffhanger line. And in that frozen moment, with the bold red on my lips and two sets of eyes fixed on me, I realized that my secret might no longer be mine to control, and everything I had tried to hide could be exposed in an instant. The next day felt like walking into a storm. Every step toward campus made my heart pound harder. The memory of the previous night, the bold lipstick, the teasing comments, and the near reveal by Emma's roommate, clung to me like a shadow. I tried to act normal, but the weight of potential exposure pressed down on me. As soon as I stepped into the lecture hall, I felt the eyes on me. Whispers floated through the rows of seats. Liam, ever observant, raised an eyebrow and smirked knowingly. I caught a glimpse of Emma in the back of the room, her eyes gleaming with a mixture of amusement and curiosity. My secret wasn't just at risk, it was practically dangling in front of everyone, waiting to be caught. The lecture began, but my mind wasn't on the professor's words. Every glance, every hushed conversation felt like a countdown. My fingers itched for the lipstick in my pocket, the desire to transform colliding with the fear of exposure. I had to perform my normal role, but the temptation to embrace my other persona, to feel the thrill of being seen, was overwhelming. During a group activity, Liam leaned over and whispered again, "So, Emma's little surprise last night? Everyone's talking." My stomach lurched. Every word was a dagger, slicing through my careful composure. I forced a smile, pretending to laugh at some joke that didn't exist. The room spun around me, a blur of students, desks, and whispers, each one a potential threat to my secret. After class, Emma intercepted me outside. "Ryan, I think people are starting to notice," she said, her voice low and teasing. "Not just Liam. Others are talking." Panic surged, but a flicker of thrill danced alongside it. The adrenaline of near exposure had become intoxicating. I wanted to run, to hide, but part of me wanted to see just how far I could go. I don't know what to do," I admitted. "If they find out," Emma smiled, brushing a hand across my shoulder. "Then maybe it's time you stop hiding." Her words struck me like lightning. Stop hiding. Embrace it. The idea of revealing myself, even partially, terrified me, but the allure was undeniable. Later, I found myself alone in the dorm, staring into the mirror. The lipstick tube called to me like a forbidden artifact. I applied it again, carefully tracing my lips. The moment the color touched my skin, I felt transformed, empowered, visible, and unafraid. But the sound of the door clicking open froze me in place. Liam had arrived unexpectedly, ostensibly to study, but his smirk betrayed his true intent. Well, he said, leaning against the doorway. Look who's embracing the spotlight. My heart thundered. Exposure was imminent. My secret, my passion, my carefully crafted persona, it could all be revealed in an instant. I tried to speak, to explain, but words failed me. Liam's gaze was sharp, analyzing, teasing. He had seen enough to understand, and I knew he wouldn't stay silent forever. The tension escalated when Emma appeared behind him, her arms crossed and an unreadable expression on her face. Ryan, she said calmly, you need to tell me everything. Now. I swallowed hard, panic and exhilaration warring inside me. Could I confess? Could I risk everything for the thrill of being fully revealed? Then came the symbolic moment. The lipstick tube slipped from my fingers and rolled across the floor. Time seemed to slow as Liam bent to pick it up, and my heart lurched with the possibility of exposure. Emma's eyes widened slightly, and I realized she had seen the entire motion. My dual identity, the person I presented to the world and the one I embraced privately, was on the verge of colliding in a way I couldn't control. Suddenly, the door burst open again. A group of classmates entered, chatting and laughing, oblivious to the storm inside. One of them paused, noticing the lipstick glinting in Liam's hand. Wait, is that Ryan? My pulse skyrocketed. Every second felt like an eternity. The whispers grew louder. Emma's calm demeanor shifted subtly, a mix of concern and curiosity now etched into her features. I realized in that moment that no matter what I did next, everything could change. My secret could be exposed. My relationship with Emma could be tested. My carefully balanced identity could shatter in an instant. I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself, but the weight of anticipation was unbearable. Emma stepped closer, placing a hand on my arm. Ryan, it's okay. Just tell me. Before I could respond, Liam smirked and held up the lipstick. So, what's the story here? Care to explain? The room seemed to tilt. All eyes were on me. Every heartbeat echoed in my ears. I was at the precipice, between concealment and revelation, fear and exhilaration. And as I looked around the room, red lips shining under the harsh fluorescent lights, I realized that in one moment, everything could be exposed, and no matter what I said next, my life, my secret, and my relationship with Emma would never be the same. The room felt impossibly small. Every heartbeat pounded in my chest as I stared at Liam holding the lipstick, the bold red color glinting under the fluorescent lights. Emma stood beside me, calm yet intense, her hand lightly brushing mine. My mind raced. One wrong word, one careless movement, and everything I had tried to hide could shatter. Ryan, Emma said softly, her eyes locking onto mine. Just tell me. I opened my mouth, but no words came. The weight of my secret pressed down, the thrill of the transformation colliding with the panic of potential exposure. I was caught between two worlds, the one I lived daily and the one I had only dared explore behind closed doors. Liam smirked, raising an eyebrow. So, what's going on? Care to explain the lipstick? I felt my cheeks flush hotter than the color on my lips. The room seemed to shrink, the whispers of my classmates now a deafening roar in my ears. My fingers twitched, craving the familiarity of the lipstick tube, the brush of color, the thrill of the transformation, but I knew this was no longer a private moment. Emma took a step closer, her voice low but firm. Ryan, it's okay. You don't have to hide from me. But you do have to choose. Tell me the truth now, or this secret will explode in ways you can't control. Panic surged. My mind raced for excuses, for ways to deflect, for a means to regain control. But the truth, the real, vulnerable truth, was staring me in the face. And somehow, part of me wanted to embrace it, even if it terrified me. Then came the knock at the door. Another student entered unexpectedly, a casual observer unaware of the tension, but instantly alert to the unusual scene. Their gaze flicked between Liam, Emma, and me, lingering on the lipstick as if trying to piece together a story. Time slowed. Every second stretched endlessly. The lipstick, the bold red mark of my secret, glinted in Liam's hand. Emma's calm, yet piercing gaze held mine. I felt exposed, vulnerable, exhilarated, and terrified. I realized, in that heart-stopping moment, that my secret could no longer be contained. The thrill of transformation, the excitement of cross-dressing in private, the playful danger of stepping into another persona, it was all on the verge of spilling into the world. I swallowed hard, my pulse echoing in my ears. One word could ignite a fire. One movement could reveal everything. Emma's hand rested lightly on mine again. "Ryan, are you ready to show me who you really are?" Before I could answer, Liam's grin widened, and the whispers of the other students grew louder. My secret, my identity, and the delicate balance of my life teetered on a knife's edge. And as the room fell silent, all eyes on me and the red lipstick glinting like a signal flare, I knew that the next second would decide everything, and whatever happened next could change my life, my secret, and my relationship with Emma forever.